There's two wolves, one in the light, one in the dark. Which one survives? What do you think? Which one survives? There's one wolf in the light, there's one wolf in the dark. Which one survives? The answer is whichever one you feed. It's actually something that I genuinely talk a lot about with clients on a consistent basis. And let me give you a story. Imagine I was in a restaurant with you. And in this restaurant, I am a shy and anxious person. All right? And my challenge that I've given myself, because I'm personal development, I want to prove myself. My challenge is that I want to go and get the bill, get the check. Get the check. Instead of holding my hand up and getting the check, I'm going to walk over to the waiter and I'm going to ask, hey, can you give me the check? All right. So I walk over there, I go over there, I'm nervous, I'm rattling, I'm shaking, my lips are quivering, and I ask, can I get the check? And they give me the check, and I did it. I've left the building. I've paid the check. Everyone's going home. You're coming home, and it's all done, right? What are my lessons that I'm going to take away from this? You might say, great, you've done a task and you've done brilliant, but actually, because the person is anxious, because the person is shy, what are they going to hone in on and focus in on? They're going to focus in on, they're shaking, they're nervous, the head's spinning, their breath is trembling, their palms are sweaty, because they're anxious, they're nervous, and that's what they're focused on. Same thing happens for an addict. An addict, if I'm talking to them in genuine active addiction, not in recovery, not way down recovery, someone active addiction, if you speak to them about a substance, their stimulant, their behavior, their addiction, that they will continue to unconsciously talk about, romanticize, fantasize, glorify this thing. What do I mean by that? What's an example of that? Well, the example is that imagine someone who is like fully at breaking point compared to someone that's just like, yeah, it's kind of this and it's kind of that. Someone who's at breaking point says, I hate the thing, it's killing me, they're just, it's all going against them. My life is terrible, I hate it, I'm disgusted at it, it's embarrassing, I'm disappointed, it's all going wrong. That person, I'm gonna put my chips on them that they're gonna change, compared to the person that goes, yeah, it's, I need it to calm me. It calms me down. I need my drink, I need my Coke, it zens me out, but there's a few problems that it has with it, and I just don't really like those problems that it brings. That person is still keeping it in their mind as a nice image. That wolf, they're feeding which wolf? They're feeding the wolf of, it helps me, it calms me, it relaxes me, it zens me out, I get productive, I get status, I get sleepy, whatever it is, the substance that they have, it helps me sleep, it helps me grow, it helps me be better, it helps me think rationally, I perform better. That's all for someone in active addiction around cocaine and also around alcohol. That's what people think when they're in active addiction. That's normal. When they're coming in recovery, they go, I can't believe I was thinking like that at all. So they were feeding this wolf unconsciously, but they were still feeding it. The same thing is also in the picture, the Pixar, I don't know what movie it was, but basically he asks the character, it's a Dr. Seuss movie, I don't know, I think it is. But he's asking, which way does a tree fall? The answer is whichever way the tree leans. The person in active addiction, unconsciously, not deliberately, keeps leaning on the side that they don't want to be on. How are they doing it? They're saying it, they're thinking it, they're looking at it, they're romanticizing it, they're saying this would be great, that'd be good. That's a problem. We need to not romanticize, glamorize, fantasize this thing in any way, shape, or form. The more we do, the more we're going to keep doing it. So whichever way the tree leans, whichever wolf you feed, so then how do you not feed those things? And also the anxious person, because they're anxious, because they're leaning anxious, because their wolf is anxious, because they've been feeding the wolf for 6 years about anxiety, what's going to happen again? The next time. So there has to be a change. How do you make that change? I actually kind of set up the anxiety person. How do you make the change? How do you not feed the wolf that you don't want to do? How do you get the tree to lean on the way you want to lean? Well, what you can do is, and I kind of set the standard for the anxious person, which I kind of almost shot myself in the foot when I was describing it, but the idea was that he has a goal. The goal is that he has an intention. The intention is that I want to be confident. That's the goal ultimately. Now, what does that mean? That's very, very broad. But he is going to become a person that is going to ask for the check at a bare minimum. He's not going to go speak on stage in front of 50,000 people. He's not going to go, do a big box office movie or become the world's greatest public speaker. That's not his goal right now. Right? The anxious person goal is pretty simple. I'm going to go ask for the check. Milestone 1, step 1. Now, what would be the worst case scenario is they do this and then they go back into their own mind, which they will kind of, which is very normal, but they won't. What I'm saying is that if they go back and they revert, it all gone wrong. Oh my God, I fell over when I was going to meet the waiter. I fell over when I was meeting the waiter. All my palms are sweaty. If they focus on that, they keep feeding the wrong wolf. So they need to derive the lesson. I've got a poster here which says, I've got a poster here from, I won't even say it, but it's basically like you got to heed the lesson. Heed the lesson. The lesson is that you did actually take that action around the waiter. You were feeling palms sweaty, anxious, and you still did it. At the end of it, nothing came in terms of worse. And in 6 weeks, do you remember the person? You don't even remember their name. You don't remember how much it was. You still took the action though. There's a lot of wins in that thing. Let's talk about it more. So that was the anxious situation. Let's talk more about how you change it when it comes to the substance, right? The substance, the stimulant, or when it comes to the behavior addiction. What are you going to do? Well, some things you can do, and people don't do this because they don't value it, but you got to put reps in. Personal training, you got to put reps in. Reps when it comes to this type of stuff is where, for example, if it's alcohol. If you say, oh man, it's Friday and I love seeing my stories and there's a lot of people going out tonight and oh my God, there's a big 50th, 40th, 30th, 20th birthday on tonight and there's a stag do this weekend and I've got to go enjoy myself. You're already connecting the dots of enjoying an alcohol. You're already connecting the dots that this weekend's going to be big, that this weekend's going to be different, that this weekend's going to be amazing. If alcohol is amazing and you're an alcoholic, you're going to keep drinking alcohol. If you think alcohol is amazing, if you think alcohol is the best invention in the world, if you think alcohol is great, if I think napping is great, I'm going to nap. But I don't think it's nap. I don't think it's great. I actually think it's a bit of a waste of time personally. The point being that if we keep romanticizing, fantasizing, glorifying, we're going to keep getting the same results. We keep feeding the wolf. It helps me sleep. No, it doesn't. It literally doesn't. It literally destroys brain cells and impacts your sleep massively. Even though it helps me be normal. This is one I've heard recently. It helps me be normal. Normal, it's not true. You weren't born drunk. So your normal is just your new normal. And now you've created this as your new normal. So if this is your new normal, now you have to consistently live into this normal because anything outside of being drunk, anything outside of a few drinks, you're always trying to chase to get into your level of normality. So if I believe I need alcohol to be normal, to be calm, I'm screwing myself over 10 times. If I think it helps me relax, then this one I can go, you know what, it actually can help you relax. And I go, yeah, for 5 minutes, for 5 hours, not even 5 hours. And then what happens? Then you're having arguments, then you're having crappy sleep, then you need to go back to your new normal, then you need to go and have the next drink and the next drink and the next drink. So is it actually making you relaxed? Because you're pretty anxious in the morning time. You're pretty hungover the next day. I don't think it's actually making you relaxed. I think it's actually hurting you. I think it's actually harming you. So seeing the reality of what we say to ourselves. It's like the substance is this, and we encapsulate it in something very nice, this bubble wrap. The bubble wrap is beautiful, it's blissful, it's a nice thing. We romanticize it. It's like we walk into a room in our mind, one of the thousands of rooms we have in our mind, and we go alcohol, we go cocaine, we go porn, we go gambling, we go all these substances. We walk into the room and we just go, wow, look at this. It's brilliant. It's amazing. It's fantastic. It's great. Look at this memory. Look at that time. And we block out all the consequences. Let's not block out the consequences. Let's actually think more about the consequences and be okay with thinking more of the consequences. Because the more we think about the consequences, that's what the room is going to be filled up with. That's what the wolf is going to be eating. That's where the tree is going to be leaning. Absolutely stuff that wolf with consequences that has happened from this. Again, remember what I talked about the anxious person. The anxious person is going to take away the negative lessons because they're anxious. A confident person is going to take away the confident lessons because their brain is literally, it's reticular activating system. The brain is conditioned to notice this. If I'm confident, if I'm a confident person, I can't be having contradiction beliefs all of the time because my life would be in disorder. I can't be having beliefs saying that I'm an unconfident person, I'm shy, I'm timid, I don't know what to say, I don't know where to go. That's not a confident person. So I can't have those thoughts if I'm a confident person. It's not that I can't have the thoughts, it's just they won't be my frequent thoughts because I'm on the frequency of confidence. I'm on the frequency, quote unquote, of anxiety. So if I'm on the frequency of the substance, what's my frequency? Anxious is always going to equal anxious because it's an emotion. Confidence is always going to equal confidence, but the substance is different because we can control the substance. Can't control anxiety. Anxiety is millions of years old, billions. Can't control confidence because confidence is millions of years old. They're emotions. What we can't control is the substance. That we can actually get on that frequency and change the way we perceive and look and take action around it. Change the way we talk about it. Anxiety, negative is always going to equal negative, positive is always going to equal positive. So which wolf are you going to feed when it comes to your addiction? Which behavior, which stimulant, which suppressant, which opiate? How are you going to frame them in your mind? And I suggest going in there with consequences, devastations, and being okay with those consequences, reliving those traumas, reliving those negatives, and walking in that room and being proud of that room, how that's the best educational room for you that you're never going to walk in there again. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, the Bulletproof Recovery Podcast, but also the YouTube channel on this episode. I felt that it fits both. Check the description out. Check the Bulletproof Recovery app. Check out the website, Gary the Expert. If you want to book a call, it's also in the links in the description of both YouTube and of this podcast. But I appreciate you. Have a beautiful, blessed day. On this beautiful, blessed day, you're amazing. I'll see you in the next one, all right? Cheers.